Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the GCSAA podcast, presented in partnership with Enview, formerly known as Bear. For more information on the company and its offerings in the golf business, head on over to www.us.enview.com and look for the Turf and Ornamentals Management tab at the top of the page. I'm Scott Hollister, the editor-in-chief of Golf Course Management Magazine, and I'm excited you've joined us for today's episode. So, as we record this, we are just a few weeks out from the 2023 GCSAA Conference and Trade Show. It's right around the corner, so we thought this episode was a great time for a deep dive into everything taking place in Orlando. So that's what we're doing on episode 47 of the GCSAA podcast. We will give you a big picture view of our week in Central Florida, highlight all the new and improved events and attractions that you'll find there, then go a little deeper into the GCSAA Golf Championships, the educational offerings, the trade show, and all the big events with the GCSAA staffers pulling all this together for you. Whether you're a regular attendee heading to CTS for the very first time, or you're still weighing your options about whether you should take the leap, I think you'll find something to like in this episode of the GCSAA podcast. And of course, I'd be remiss if I did not direct you to the CTS website, which is www.gcsaaconference.com. There you can find a ton more information on the event and how you can still register to attend. So we hope to see all of you in Orlando. Before we get going, a couple of quick housekeeping items. First, CTS isn't the only thing that is new and improved. With this episode of the podcast, we are doing some improvements ourselves, and we are now going to offer video versions of the podcast, which will be available on both GCSAA TV and GCSAA's YouTube channel. For those who prefer audio podcasts and, not seeing my ugly mug on your computer screen all the time, you will still be able to get those through all the same podcast services you always have and on the GCSAA website. But we're excited to expand the ways in which we deliver the podcast to you all. And my thanks go out to our new podcast editor, Evan Shapiro, for all his help as we step into this brave new world. Second, my usual reminder that you can catch up on recent episodes of the GCSAA podcast that you might have missed by checking out the podcast archives, wherever you get your podcast, and of course, soon to be on GCSAA TV and GCSAA's YouTube channel. You can also subscribe, rate, and review us on all those same services, which really does help out. So I'd encourage you to do that if you haven't already. With all that out of the way, let's go. This is episode 47 of the GCSAA podcast and our deep dive into the 2023 GCSAA Conference and Trade Show in Orlando. Hope you enjoy. All right, well, starting things off with this episode of the podcast is Ed Severell. Ed is the Chief Marketing Officer for GCSAA. He started in April of last year. So, Ed, this will be your first conference and trade show as a member of the staff, but you are not a stranger to the event, are you?
Not at all. And boy, I tell you what, I'm so excited to be part of the staff, but I think this is probably my 10th or 12th conference and trade show. And prior to that, obviously GIS, having led the PGA merchandise show for almost 15 years, I attended almost every golf industry show, and then worked a little part of Orlando and the GCSAA Conference and Trade Show in 2020, as well as in 2021 in San Diego.
Yeah, so you'll be familiar with it, but obviously in a bit of a different role. And before we get cooking real quick, I want to just run down the basics for everyone. The dates, obviously, we're going to be in Orlando the first full week of February. GCSAA Golf Championships are February 4th through the 6th. The conference and trade show takes center stage the 6th through the 9th. You'll have education, your seminars, power hours, largely February 6th through the 7th, that is Monday and Tuesday, and then the trade show on the 8th and 9th. And of course, for more details, head over to gcsaaconference.com. So I'm curious, what was about your impression when you were in your previous roles and attending kind of as an outsider? What were your impressions of the event before you joined the association?
Oh boy, I was always excited to be there. The event is just so amazing. I mean, just start with the new products that are available every single year at the show. And I know that this year there's going to be even more, but just to see the new products, the new information, and really the education is just amazing. What you can learn there, it's about really what you get to be able to bring back to your local facility. So I was always like a kid in a candy store, even though I was over at the PGA show, just being able to go in and see the equipment being able to see all of the new insights at the GCSAA Conference and Trade Show, it was always exciting. So for me, I looked forward to it every single year.
Well, we hope we've got a whole bunch of members doing the exact same thing as they look ahead to our time in Orlando. Anyone who's perused the website or spent any time studying what's going to take place in Central Florida, Ed, will clearly note how much we've been making of the enhancements, the new opportunities that attendees will have an opportunity to discover in Orlando. It's your elevator speech time. You've been in sales before, so I'll give you the opportunity here. If you had 30, 45 seconds to tell a GCSA member about the event, how would you say this year's events differ from previous editions of the conference and trade show?
It's the most interactive experience you won't find anywhere else. If you think about it, our members, our industry, hands-on. So why not make our annual gathering, the largest gathering of GCSAA members, hands-on and interactive? So this is the interactive opportunity to learn, and most important, bring benefits of new insights, new products, new ideas back to your facility.
That feeds great into my next question, and it does have to do with the interactivity that's going to be there, the hands-on opportunities that have really been baked into the planning of this CTS. You've explained why this is really front and center in what the association has done to plan for this event, but maybe highlight a few of the ways that that's actually going to manifest itself. I know there's several interactive facility tours on Monday and Tuesday. Kelly Norwood, our great colleague down in education, will comment about that a little bit later in the podcast, but talk a little bit about how those interactive opportunities will manifest themselves for attendees in Orlando.
Well, as you mentioned, 7 different interactive, what we're calling facility learning tours. You get on a bus with your colleagues, you learn while you're on the bus. And what we like to say is learn from experts, learn from each other in a hands-on environment. You'll be at facilities where you'll be able to see things like new ideas in sand washing for bunkers, new ideas around autonomous mowers, BMP coverage. I mean, just the idea of everything that's going on in these 7 different tours, from learning how to produce a first green tour to literally being able to go and learn about tournament prep at Bay Hill, from everything from preparing that professional tournament right on down to the local charity tournament. It's got it all. And then all of our networking events are interactive. So for instance, we have the opening at Aquatica Beach. That's our welcome reception. And what a better way than to join us all at the beach and kind of relax before all of the festivities start. Then you come on to the trade show floor, and the first thing you're greeted with is a 20,000 square foot area with an interactive grass stage. It's a collaboration of the GCBAA, the architects, the USGA, and of course, the GCSAA, where we'll have forward tees, 3 different types of turf on the tee box, all kinds of interactivity. Then throughout the show floor, there's all kinds of interactivity and excitement. So it's going to be hands-on for those 4 or 5 days that you're there, and it will be an experience you can't find anywhere else.
As someone who's experienced the event for many, many years in many different forms, this one really is ramping things up in terms of getting folks that hands-on experience. There's been a precursors to these tours occasionally in the past, and I've had the good fortune to attend several of those. And I learn a lot as a complete novice. You look at my backyard, you'll know that I'm a novice in turfgrass management. But as someone who is not a trained superintendent, I learn a ton. And I know the people that I've been on these events with learn a ton as well. And I know that is in store for anyone who takes part in those tours or anything on the trade show floor. I want to turn our attention quickly to you mentioned the welcome reception at Aquatica, which is being presented in partnership with our friends at Syngenta. Big showcase events have always been a part of the conference and trade show experience, but GCSA really taking things up a notch this year in Orlando. We've talked about the welcome reception, but why don't should give us just kind of a sneak peek at what attendees can expect from the GCSA Sunrise Celebration, which was formerly the opening session, also presented in partnership with Syngenta, and the send-off celebration on Thursday, formerly the closing celebration, which is presented in partnership with John Deere.
Well, I tell you what, those are bookend events with events in the middle and excitement all around. It starts at Aquatica Beach, as you mentioned. Now imagine you're there with all your colleagues on a great man-made beach, okay? So here you have this area that's created, but it's just like being at the beach in Orlando. There'll be music, there'll be complimentary food, complimentary beverages. It's just an exciting time where you'll be able to talk with colleagues, learn from each other, and we'll have music, we'll have games, we'll have excitement. It really is a great way to start off the week. And then, as you mentioned, we get to the sunrise celebration. Now, why would we rename it? It's very simple. If we're going to be interactive, then we want to capture that one moment. Superintendents, their crews, every morning, the feedback we get is that morning sunrise is really what my job is all about in terms of the excitement of that day. And we want to capture that with a really exciting celebration where we're going to have not only incredible music, incredible opening part to the ceremony, but we're also going to feature Kyle Maynard. He is just an incredible speaker. He's someone who just has overcome so many challenges in his life. He actually has a book called No Excuses. And what a great way to start the week and be able to get things going. And then throughout the day and throughout the week, there'll be incredible opportunities, as you mentioned. There's Ladies Leading Turf presented in partnership with Syngenta. There is all kinds of activities that are on the floor that I'm going to get back to in a minute because I want to talk to you about our great Thursday. And then you mentioned what we're calling the send-off celebration, formerly closing. Well, no, closing finale. Send-off means that we're getting together and we're still celebrating. And we'll be celebrating the Old Tom Morris Award winner. We'll have an opportunity to come together. And at that time, there's going to be a lot of excitement in that room because we are going end to end with interactivity and excitement.
You know, I hope the attendees can sense the excitement that you and I have for the event. It's really going to be something. It's really going to be something different than they've experienced before, even if they're regular attendees. And you mentioned the Thursday on the trade show floor. This will be our concluding day. But this is a day that really you should miss if you're going to be there. There are so many cool opportunities that are going to be available on the trade show floor that day that I think folks are absolutely going to want to stick around and take advantage of it. So give us a little sneak peek into what will be going on Thursday.
Thursday is going to be our biggest day yet, because imagine this. You'll download the GCSAA Conference and Trade Show mobile app that you do every year that has wayfinding. It's got agendas. It's got all kinds of information in it. But this year, it's going to create even more excitement because on Thursday, you're going to take it. And as you visit all of our great exhibitors, you will scan a QR code and you will earn GCSAA bucks. What are GCSAA bucks? They are bucks that you're going to be able to use at the send-off celebration at a live auction where you're going to be able to use those bucks to bid on great prizes, starting with our grand prize opportunity from Bass Pro Shops, a tracker boat that will be autographed by our Old Tom Morris winner, none other than the founder of Bass Pro Shops, Johnny Morris. That's you're awesome. Going to be able to bid on all kinds of other elements, or prizes, including golf gear, fishing gear. And think about it. All you need to do is visit the booths on Thursday, scan, collect these GCSAA bucks, and then you're going to be able to bid. And just the excitement of all of that is going to just be worth the Thursday. But we're not stopping there, because every hour on Thursday, we're going to have prize giveaways. Just by being on the floor on Thursday, every hour, someone is going to win great prizes. So really exciting stuff, including show specials, interactivity, incredible presentations, the GCSAA annual meeting, I could go on and on with how much is packed in to Thursday.
You don't want to listen to Ed and I go on and on about all that, because it would take all day. But we will send you one more time over to GCSAconference.com. All kinds of information there on everything taking place in Orlando. You can register there. You can get information on travel, hotels, all sorts of good stuff there. So again, I'll refer you to GCSAconference.com. Ed, I'll thank you for your time today. Much appreciated. It's a busy time, and so I appreciate your time. But I'll give you a chance for one more elevator speech. What piece of advice would you give any undecided member who is still contemplating a trip to join us in Orlando for the conference and trade show?
This trip will pay for itself. I mean, what you will learn there in education, show specials, new products, ideas, interactivity, networking, meeting new colleagues, the opportunity I didn't even mention to be able to compete, have fun, and meet new people at the GCSA Golf Championships presented by Toro. It is an action-packed opportunity that literally you'll be able to benefit from all year long. It's a can't miss opportunity. I can't wait to see you there. Go to GCSAconference.com and register today.
Couldn't agree with you more on everything. It's exciting for us as staff. Hope it's exciting for our membership and all the great exhibitors that we have. And we're looking forward to seeing everyone in Orlando. It's Ed Severall, everybody. He is GCSA's Chief Marketing Officer. Ed, thanks for your time today.
Thank you. See everyone in Orlando.
Well, there are not many events on the GCSA calendar that attract the loyalty and support like the GCSA Golf Championships, one of my favorites on the calendar. I know that stands true for our guest in this segment. It's Jim Cummins. Jim's official title is Business Development Manager with GCSAA. Started with the association in 2007, but your favorite side hustle, Jim, I know, is as tournament director of the GCSA Golf Championships. So thanks for taking some time to chat about the tournament.
Thank you, Scott. I could not have said all of those beautiful words better myself. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're certainly welcome. Don't get used to it. So, all right. Well, let's start and give listeners and viewers, since we're going to have a video version of this up on YouTube and GCSA TV now. Sure. Let's start with just kind of some of the basics and kind of go by the numbers. Allow you to kind of give people some of the details on the event in Orlando, where we're headed, the dates, all that kind of fun stuff. So I'll just turn it over to you and kind of let you kind of update us on what we got ahead of us in Orlando.
Beautiful. The GCSA Golf Championships is really the front porch to our conference and show. It's a great opportunity for our members, and we have a core group, and we're expecting close to 500 of them this year to join us there at the Omni Champions Gate Resort. And we'll be using both golf courses at the Omni Champions Gate Resort, staying at the Champions Gate Resort in the Omni there. Then we've also got Orange County National, both courses there. Great golf courses. They're designed by, Orange County National hosts has hosted several PGA Tour qualifying events.
Right.
They are also really well known throughout the PGA show as having the largest driving range in the world. Actually, that thing is crazy.
Yeah, it is
it's
nuts.
a 360-degree range, and they've got kind of a stay and play outfit there, but really well put together golf courses all around. And so everybody every day is going to have great opportunity to play golf. And we're looking forward to it. So the day we start out, on the very first day on Saturday, February the 4th, we're going to start out with a 4-ball, and that's a fun format. You have a partner.
Sure.
And we play gross and net divisions in that. And great way to, if you've got a partner that you want to play with, you can sign up to play with whomever you want. But if you don't have a partner, the cool thing is we'll find you somebody to play with. And I think a lot of people like doing that because they meet somebody new, and
yeah,
we have so many people that say, hey, I've met this person at tournament, and they're lifelong friends now. So that's pretty cool. But then we also have the classic format, which is an individual format that starts on Sunday. And that is basically an egg hunt. You're going out trying to get points. It has gross and net divisions, the gross being Stableford format, and then the net division being a point quota format, which is kind of based off of what your handicap is roughly, and you're still trying to get points. Good news about those formats is if you can't make a bogey, you pick up and move on to the next hole. So not any big giant scores, and probably for you and I, that'd be a good format.
Yeah, that's perfect for my game. So
right. But then one of the main things we're there for is also the national championship. We want to crown our best player in the world that's a member of GCSAA and a superintendent. And as you well know, Seth Strickland is our past champion 2 years running now.
that's right.
And he's going to be there again, trying to make a triple out of it. But I think he's won it 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, I think 5 times. Yeah, and it's a home game for Seth this year. He's a Florida guy down in the Miami area. So
yeah, no doubt. He always brings it one way or another. He's always there in it. But we've got a lot of younger superintendents that are kind of making their way into the championship, and there's going to be some competition for sure. Excuse me. But then we do have a fun event that we're doing on Sunday for the golf tournament, which is the good old scramble. That it's a super relaxed format. Sure. I think everybody knows what a scramble format is, but it's 4-person teams. We typically fill that thing up pretty quick, and we've got a large field for that. But we basically just take the scores from the field, divide them into 2 flights, and award some winners, and just have a big time. So that's going to be really cool. And then we have networking opportunities on Saturday night and Sunday night, which are going to be really fun parties to come to. If you want to, you can register for a pass to bring a spouse or somebody with you if you'd like to do that. And then something that's a little bit new that we're doing on Sunday night after golf, you'll be able to, in your round, Scott, qualify for the Toro par 3 shootout. Okay. It's going to happen on Sunday night. It's something Toro's bringing into the mix, but while we're playing golf that day, each golf course will have a target hole with a 15-foot circle in it. And the idea is to get into that 15-foot circle so that you can qualify for the Toro par 3 shootout that happens after the reception, but as part of the reception on Sunday night. Toro is going to be giving away a Toro Workman to whoever is the closest to the hole.
Awesome.
So it's going to be really neat.
Yeah, that was a great event. I know that was a great event that we started in 2021 in Palm Springs. Had a little fun par 3 event, and I know the attendees at that really enjoyed it. So that's awesome that's going to continue. So you mentioned the networking, obviously huge draw for this event, as much as the competition that takes place. And you talked about the 4-ball getting paired with new folks. I just think I hear from so many participants who cite that as big a draw as anything to come to the event, because they meet people from all over the country. They meet new contacts professionally, but new friends as well. So I think that's something that most potential players and players would cite as a really big reason that they take part each and every year in this event.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, you mentioned Toro. Let's talk a little bit about them. They are the presenting partners for this event. We are going on year 29, the 29th consecutive year that they have served as our presenting partner. And I want to give you an opportunity, because I know how closely you work with them and how highly you think of the role they play in supporting this event. What does their support mean for the event and the experience that participants get to enjoy while they're at the GCSA Golf Championships?
Well, you said it. I mean, their support for GCSAA in general is unwavering. They are here to help advance the careers and superintendents and help us, follow our mission. And they get it. They really do provide and help us with the connections that we need to go into a community where our trade show is going to be and say, hey, we want to play the best available in this community. We want to put on a great show. We want everybody when they come here to have, of all skill levels, to have an opportunity to play golf, have fun, and network, and really just have a great time. And I tell you, more people than not, when they come to the tournament one time, will say, man, I didn't have any idea this was going to be this much fun, and I was going to learn something while I was here.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to miss it again. And certainly without Toro's support, we could not put together a tournament at the level by which we do, because we want you to come and stay at a really, really nice place that's got amenities and things that you can do. If you bring your family, then while they're golfing, there's all kinds of things to do in the
Right.
resort and around the area of the resort. And hey, Toro has been there for this many years. That's a lot of support for 29 years. We
Yeah,
couldn't do it without it.
it says a lot about their dedication to GCSAA, to the superintendent member and the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
And they've been awesome for us to work with. I know I think I can speak for you and the other staff members who get to work the privilege of working the tournament every year. And they're just couldn't be better folks to work with and partner with in this. So I wanted to definitely give them a shout out. Another quick shout out I'd like to give you the opportunity to do is to our friends at the PGA of America, who provide some assistance with rules officials to really make this a top-notch event. And I know you are particularly close to them as a member of the PGA yourself, but they've been unbelievable partners in helping us kind of develop the event to the point that it's reached. Correct?
Oh, there's no doubt. We want everybody, when they come to these events, from course conditioning and course setup, and the way the courses are marked and properly marked by the best in the world. I mean, they come from the PGA Rules Committee. Chip Essig is our lead official now, but he brings a team of, between 3 to 5 officials with him. The courses love it because they get their place professionally marked. I mean, these guys mark Augusta National and the PGA Championship. They officiate Ryder Cup events, and the players get a kick out of it too, because when you get to kind of be right next to these guys, they're always good about throwing out some stories that are really, really interesting. And then the PGA of America itself, hey, they put a budget line item in to help actually pay to have them come and be a part of our event. And I tell you, having professionals like that there on that level, it just elevates everything about our event and makes it that much better.
Yeah, they do it. They do a great job. They really, in getting to talk to a number of them, I know how much they enjoy the event. They enjoy working with the association, with Toro, but mainly the competitors in the event. And so it's it's probably a little less pressure than standing on a tee at Augusta National during the final round of the Masters or something like that. But I think they appreciate that, and they really, really enjoy what they do for us. And so we couldn't do it without them. Your real job is a sales guy, so I'm going to let you put your sales hat on here and say I'm considering playing for the first time. What would you tell me the biggest benefits that I'm going to receive by competing, and how would you convince me to get myself to Orlando in the first week of February?
Well, hey, I can assure you that you will not have any wasted time while you were there. You're going to meet and have close proximity to 500 of the most engaged professionals, turf professionals in the world. And I would say, if anything, you're going to learn something while you're there, just in the networking. And, if you're going to hear something that somebody else's issue that they have solved by using some type of resource that you may not have thought of. And, even better yet, it's just really, really fun. We've got something for anybody at any playing level. And everybody that's there just absolutely loves it. And I would almost bet you that you would say, I'm not going to miss it if you would come and try it with us, because it's just a really great, fun, networking event. And again, you're going to come out of there with something that you'll be able to take back to your facility and play some really great golf courses.
Awesome. Sign me up, Jimmy. Sign me up.
You got it. You
Oh,
got
wait,
it,
I'm already going to be there. So,
That's right.
a quick reminder, the dates for the GCSA Golf Championships are February 4th through 6th. You get a whole lot more information by heading over to the website, which is gcsaconference.com/GCSAA-golf-championships. You'll also see a link there at the top of the page on the homepage for that site. And then just real quickly before we wrap up, Jim, I know you are fully focused on the event in 2023 in Orlando, but we are moving to, it's not a new spot. We've been there before, but it's been a very long time. We are looking at Phoenix in 2024. First time, I kind of went back and looked, first time since 1991. We've been in the desert. We played in Scottsdale, and I think we will be in Scottsdale largely for this one. But I know there's a lot of details still ironed out, but that's got to be exciting to kind of roll Phoenix into the mix in 2024.
It is, and that's a place, again, we haven't been for a while. And the weather there is, that time of year is really, really great. So we're
Absolutely.
for sure looking forward to that, and more details to come. We're working diligently to put together a lineup of facilities there that will not disappoint. They're going to be great. And, there's one other thing, Scott, that I wanted to be sure and mention.
Okay.
About the tournament is we are really focused on getting this chapter team competition going again.
All righty.
We used to have a lot of teams that played in that. We've actually doubled the prize money for the chapters that win. So you can win a grant for your chapter to use it for really whatever you want, but that they can use it to send a team back to the tournament next year or send another team to the tournament next year. But we've had teams that have used it for their Christmas party or for education or any of that stuff. But it's really, really fun. And more than anything, you want to be the chapter team winner, right?
Absolutely.
So every chapter needs to put a team in this competition so that we can really talk it up. We're excited to see how many teams we can get this year.
That's
So it
right.
should be
Let's
fun.
earn yourself some bragging rights, and there's
That's
information
right.
on that on the website as well. So
That's right.
thanks for tossing that in there. That is an important and a fun part of the event as well. And we want as many of GCSA's affiliated chapters as possible to take part in that. So, well, Jimmy,
Absolutely.
I appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk with us here today on our little CTS Palooza podcast and covering everything.
Thank
but
you
really,
for having me. I appreciate it.
You're certainly welcome. The tournament's a great way to start your week in Orlando. So once again, the date's February 4th through the 6th. Head over to gcsaconference.com and look for the GCSAA Golf Championship link at the top of the page. So Jim, again, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate it.
You got it. Take care. Thank you so much.
We'll get back to this episode in a moment, but now a word from InView, your partner in solving the toughest challenges on your golf course so you're always prepared for what's ahead. With the 2023 GCSAA Conference and Trade Show right around the corner, February 6th through the 9th in Orlando, InView invites you to stop by booth 1561 to see what's made the company an innovator in our industry for decades and what's next. That includes the StressGuard fungicide portfolio, which is turning 25 this year, that has a solution for any stress at any time of the year, Tetrino insecticide that provides game-changing management, and Densicor fungicide that fights the top 5 cool season and warm season turf diseases. In Orlando, InView will make an exciting announcement about a first-of-its-kind solution to protect your roots and make your greens stronger than ever. You can also connect with InView's Green Solutions team, who will be in the booth to answer your questions about managing turf diseases, insects, weeds, and stress on your course. And you can also get your picture taken with a dog from Flyaway Geese and enter to win an expertly trained, people-friendly work dog to help around your course. With a new vision for a company with over a half-century of experience, InView enables golf course superintendents to accomplish greater things on their courses every day. Visit booth 1561 at the GCSAA Conference and Trade Show to meet the team and learn how InView can help your course. Our thanks again to everyone at InView for their support of this podcast. And now, back to this episode. Well, if you ask anyone, really what the foundation of the GCSA conference and trade show is, I think most superintendents and members would agree that it is the education that is offered there, the world-class educational offerings. And we're happy to welcome Kelly Norwood. Kelly is the Senior Manager of Curriculum with GCSAA, works in the Learning and Career Development Department. And Kelly, is this going to be your 10th conference and show?
It's 11.
11. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I knew you started in 2012, so I didn't know if you started right before show or if you got the one in that year, but number 11. So I think Matt Brown is at 11 as well, but
Yep, we started at the same time. Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to kind of join us and give folks just a quick rundown on the education. And to start, let's start, I guess, with the basics. How many total educational opportunities are attendees going to have in Orlando? I know there's seminars, there's tours, we have the power hours, but what are we looking at in terms of overall numbers, and how many of those are going to be new opportunities for members this year?
We're going to be right around 100 total. So that breaks down to about 67 seminars. We have 7 interactive facility tours this year, which is our highest number ever. 5 of those are going to be offered in morning and afternoon sessions, so attendees can really maximize their schedule there. We have 18 power hours, and 75% of our content offerings are new this year.
Wow, is that unusual in terms of the number of new opportunities versus previous years?
It is. There's been a big emphasis in the member feedback from all the sources that we look at that on offering new education. So we really just brought back a very small number of seminars that are highly in demand year after year, and the rest of the lineup is new content.
That's great. Well, I'm sure that's a good segue into the other question, because a lot of times I'll get asked by whether they're contributors to the magazine or folks I encounter just being out and about how we determine, meaning the association, how GCSA determines which educational, which seminars to accept, which presentations to accept. And I always tell them there's a lot of member involvement, but just quickly, kind of, if you could recap how members are involved in the process of determining what educational opportunities are offered at conference and show.
Lots of people are aware that there's a request for proposal process that starts right after we get back from show, where we, solicit proposals from folks. But we're also looking at all of our GCSAA surveys that ask about education. So we have the member needs survey, we have the CTS attendee and non-attendee survey, that we're reading all of those individual responses that pertain to education and seeing, what kind of education people want, what they don't want. Then we also look at every single one of the individual seminar surveys, which is thousands, to see what worked and what didn't from the offerings that we had the year before. Then we take all of that, all of the new proposals, and we have member task groups that review all of those. So we have the assistants, the equipment managers, and the superintendents review the proposals for their areas, make selections, make recommendations of, other people that they might want to see teaching at show. And that is really what guides all of our content that's offered.
I appreciate that, and I hope listeners do, and viewers as well, because again, I do hear questions about that, and I think members are surprised a little bit at just how in depth and involved the process is to determine what we offer every year, and I know it pays off, because I have seen the survey results at the end, and for the most part, they're exceedingly positive from members. Let's talk a little bit about specifics about Orlando. As in years past, there are a series of educational tracks that attendees can use to kind of guide how they plan what sessions and seminars they're going to take part in. I think there might be more this year than we've seen in the past. Are there 14 total this year?
There's more than that. I didn't count them before our interview today, but yeah, there are a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of scrolling involved on the GCSA, the conference website when you're looking at them. But maybe just give folks an idea of what those tracks are, how they're put together, and the ways that they can benefit attendees as they plan their time in Orlando.
So the tracks are something that we put forward on the website, really just to help attendees and registrants shop for their education. So they might be looking at it by their job role, whether they're an assistant or an equipment manager, or they might be looking at something that they're really interested this year, like construction or labor, or maybe wellness track. Those are all areas of emphasis that are identified by the task groups and by other member feedback. And so we kind of look at what are some of those hot topics that we know people are going to be looking for in education, and then make it really easy for them to find all the education opportunities in that area.
Yeah, I think those are great, especially, for any attendee, really, to kind of help guide them and give them a kind of a quick look at what is most appropriate for their role at the golf facility. But in particular, for new attendees who are trying to find their way kind of around the offerings that we have there, it's a really great way to see everything from a paid seminar to something on the trade show floor that they might want to take advantage of. So I really encourage folks as they plan their time in Orlando to take a look at those. You mentioned earlier, Kelly, the interactive facility tours, most we've ever offered there. Interactivity is obviously one of the overarching themes of the entire conference and trade show. You go to the website, you'll see it front and center there. So tell us a little bit about these tours, kind of where they're going to be headed, and the focus of some of the topics that are going to be covered on the tours.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 7 total tours this year. We're going to be visiting Bay Hill, Dove's Dread, Hawks Landing, Grand Vista, Grand Lakes, Interlochen, and Orange Tree. And it'll really be an opportunity for people to get out on the golf course, interact with those subject matter experts in those different hot topic areas. Some of the things we're going to be covering are bunkers, course technologies, tournament prep for all events, turf management, BMPs, and hosting a first green field trip. And that first green field trip will have students on it. So they'll actually get to see how that field trip works in real life with students from a local school. We have an outstanding lineup of speakers. I started to list some of them out, but I don't want to leave anyone off. But
That's right.
I assure you they are rock stars in their respective areas, and people that you'll want to have a chance to, speak with in those small groups in that interactive environment out on the course.
They're not only are they super educational, super hands-on, super interactive, they're also just a lot of fun. I've been lucky enough to go on several of them, just serving in my role with the magazine and reporting on previous tours that we've done, and it's also a great way to network. You meet people from all over in them, and it doesn't hurt, especially maybe from some of the folks who've experienced a little bit of winter weather, to get outside for a little bit and enjoy some Central Florida weather in February. So highly recommended from this observer. Let's talk a little bit about the power hours. We've sometimes referred to these as sessions, educational sessions, but they've really taken on a kind of a narrowed focus with this power hour. And there's a great mix of just looking at the menu that we're going to be offering in Orlando. There's a great mix of some old favorites that have been offered before and a bunch of new options as well. So tell us a little bit about the power hours, the intent of them, how they're being designed, and there are a couple of highlights. I know you don't want to leave anyone out because they're all awesome, but just tell us a little bit about what those power hours are going to look like in sunny Orlando.
Sure. Well, first I want to correct a common misconception, which is all of the power hour content is new every year. So
Okay.
we do have some formats that come back year after year, like lightning round learning or the ladies leading turf session, but
Sure.
all of the content and the talks within those are new. So
Great.
we refresh all of that content every year. And we try to really hit the wide range of audiences that are at CTS. This is the education that's included with your all access or full pack registration. So we really want to have something for everyone. And again, we're trying to hit some of those really hot topics that we're seeing in the industry, such as labor or wellness. We'll have some, good old agronomic talks in there too, things to help you in your career. And we'll cap it off on Thursday morning with lightning round learning, which is always a super popular event with those 5-minute quick hit talks on a variety of subjects.
Yeah, that one is great, and I appreciate you clarifying my comment there about the old favorites and new. There's a lot of those formats, in particular that lightning round learning it's always a hugely popular one. But everything you'll learn there, you could go to the last several of them, you're going to get something new every single time. So I appreciate the clarification on that. Let's wrap up with the seminars. There's a massive list of seminars available for superintendents, equipment managers, assistants, everything. The topics cover every aspect of the industry, from agronomy to business management, equipment management, career trends. What kind of trends do you and your colleagues there in the education department see in what topics attract the most attention from attendees in terms of what they're signing up for, what goes quick, what doesn't, what's moving the needle among attendees at the show?
Yeah, well, you gave a great overview of how we try to, represent all of the competencies within each area and give the attendees everything they need to be successful in their careers. A lot of the high demand we're seeing this year is for labor leadership topics. One of our most popular seminars is creating a great team culture. And we're seeing several others within that area sell really well, be really popular. We're also seeing a high level of interest in construction and renovation topics, nematodes and some other pest topics and agronomic topics. And we also have a really strong lineup of equipment management seminars this year. We have a lot of new experts teaching in the EM area, and we're seeing those be very popular as well.
Well, that's great. And those are clustered on Monday and Tuesday of the week. They do require pre-registration. Fortunately, though, as you listen or watch this, you still have time to join us if you haven't already. I'll direct you over to gcsaconference.com/education. You can get a ton more information on everything that will be available there in the world of professional development. And Kelly, before I let you go, I want to just from a staff perspective, you're certainly not alone. I know you shoulder a lot of the responsibility, but you have a unbelievable team in the learning and career development department. I'll just give you an opportunity to kind of shout out the others in that department who work so hard to put together a world-class event every single year.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Scott. We're all wearing a lot of hats this year. And we're fortunate to have working with us Jen Gwartney, Lisa Witt, Katie Schuster, and Diana Kern. We're an awesome team. We have each other's backs pulling off this huge event, and we're very lucky to work with one another. And we're also welcoming our new department leader, Chris Todden, who's getting really thrown into the deep end as we come down the home stretch here for CTS. So we hope we don't scare him off, but I know he's looking forward to seeing the event all come together, and we're appreciative of his help as well.
Yeah, a great team there. I speak from experience, been around a few of these shows. I know how much work goes into preparing everything. And I also am lucky enough to interact with enough members who to express to me how much they appreciate what you all do and what the association does for them in terms of keeping them up to date and educated on everything in the industry. So I will share their thanks with you, Kelly, and my thanks to you for joining us for the podcast today. It means a lot, and look forward to seeing everyone in Orlando. Again, it's gcsaconference.com/education to learn more. And Kelly Norwood, appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Okay, let's talk trade show with Matt Brown, GCSA's Director of Corporate Sales. You've been with GCSA since 2012. So is this your 10th show?
Believe it or not, it is my 12th show. It doesn't work like birthdays because I started in January and my first show was in January. So I caught my first show in Vegas in 2012.
Okay.
Have since been to, San Diego 4 times, San Antonio twice, 4 in Orlando, and we had the 1 virtual show.
I guess this my first kind of big picture question makes it even a little more appropriate. The show that you and your team are preparing for in Orlando is different in a whole lot of ways from really any of the other ones. We'll take the virtual one out because clearly that was a whole different ballgame for everybody. But how would you compare what you and your team are putting together this year with what attendees have seen in previous GCSA trade shows?
Well, Scott, as you know, we survey the attendees and we survey exhibitors at the end of every show. And certainly the pandemic played a factor in the evolution of technologies with trade shows. and trade shows were kind of forced to evolve to remain relevant. And I think we have done a fantastic job of listening to both our attendees and our exhibitors and bringing to the show things that are relevant, important, impactful, experiential. When we talk to our exhibitors, they wanted to connect more with attendees. When you survey attendees, they want to do hands-on. They want to have very tactile experiences where they can test the products, see the latest technologies, maybe learn about advances in chemistries or science. And when we talk to exhibitors about how to interact with attendees, they wanted the same things. They want to present their advances, their technological advantages, all the things that they spend their research and development dollars on. They want to debut them at show. They want to get them in front of their potential customers. And certainly there's no better opportunity than that gathering of 6,000 superintendents, 12,000 people, using round figures there, but it's a tremendous experience for both exhibitors and attendees.
Yeah, and I think that it won't take long for folks to walk onto the floor at the Orange County Convention Center and see how that's manifested itself this year. We'll dig into a little bit of the details here of what folks can expect to see when they're in Orlando. Let's start out with some of the statistics, the numbers. What are we looking at in terms of kind of generally the overall square footage, the number of exhibitors that will be on the trade show floor for attendees to interact with while they're in Orlando?
Well, we've got obviously a little bit of runway left to get to showtime, and we certainly have exhibitors signing up every day, as we have attendees signing up every day. But we're looking forward to 150,000 net square feet of exhibit space. Certainly the trade show floor is a lot larger than that when you add in all of the GCSAA and allied association attractions that are placed on the show floor. But let's say 150,000 net square feet of exhibit space and in the neighborhood of 500 exhibitors. So there's, it really has returned to pre-pandemic sizes. And that's what we have through the door already. I mean, we're looking, as we tape this, we're in late December. So we've got, a number of weeks before we get to show, but certainly we're well ahead of the last 3 shows in terms of what we've booked in thus far. And we still have time to bring in more attendees and exhibitors.
Regardless of where those numbers end up, and as you said, we're all the trending numbers are heading in the right direction to getting the trade show back to kind of where it was pre-pandemic. There's going to be plenty for attendees to take in their time in Central Florida. One of the big changes.
My favorite stat is the number of new exhibitors, or I'm sorry, new attendees. It's what I share with exhibitors, but there are people coming to this show that have never before attended in droves, and typically this time of registration, we'd have 300 or 400 new never before attended. And currently we're over 1,100 new never before attended the show. So, when you talked about all signs pointing or needles pointing north, that's one that indicates to me that we're going to have, from an attendance perspective, a lot of new decision makers on the show floor.
That'll be great. I'm sure you're hearing positive responses from the exhibitors based on that number. One of the things those newbies will see, one of the things that folks who have attended multiple times in the past that they'll notice right away is some tweaks to actually the physical layout of the trade show floor. So I'll give you the floor. You should be able to see on your screen here shortly, kind of a diagram of what Matt's talking about. But Matt, I'll let you kind of describe what will attendees experience in terms of the physical layout of the trade show floor.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we do survey, we do follow trends in the industry, and one of those trends was to create more main aisle exposure for the exhibitors, and it makes it easier for the attendees to interact with exhibitors when you have longer runs of main aisles. So one thing we did this year was implemented angular main aisles, which took from the stage, which you'll see at the bottom center of the show floor. There are two aisles that run back, one back into the left and one back into the right, that kind of divides the show floor into more of a triangular representation. Typical show floors were more linear with left-right aisles, so east-west aisles and north-south aisles. Here we have aisles that will run northeast and northwest from the center of the show floor, with the centerpiece being, of course, the green stage that is a project that's been put together by GCSAA, the GCBAA, the USGA, and the golf course architects. So everybody showing how they can work together to bring a real life project inside onto the show floor. So if anyone's ever been involved in any remodel or ground up construction, all those practices are in place on the show floor, and you'll be able to witness it. So when we talk about interactivity, there's no greater example than what hits you right as soon as you walk in the door.
Yeah, and that's a good segue. I wanted to talk about that interactivity. You mentioned it earlier. You mentioned attendees wanting to get that hands-on experience. The grass stage will be one of those things, but there'll be a lot of other opportunities to kind of for attendees to get the kind of hands-on look and feel, touch and feel that they want to get out of the show, correct?
Yeah, that's true. And other trends in education, trends in shows and conferences are TED Talk type stages, where we have built 3 different stages across the show floor, kind of one in each third, if you will, and different focuses. So one's focused on technology. One is focused on equipment managers and technicians, and then we've got a more general focus, allowing exhibitors to schedule time to certainly promote their products and services, but those technological advances, the research and development dollars that they spend throughout the year, there is a lot of new and interesting presentations that'll take place on the show floor. And the companies will be marketing that. So as an attendee, you don't really need to do anything other than look to the app or look to your own email and the way that the marketing folks will be telling you what's going on the show floor. But certainly the show app will be your guide throughout your visit in Orlando and help you schedule and determine where you want to spend your time. But I am really proud of what we've done in terms of answering the needs of the attendee first, and then exhibitors second, with not only matchmaking, but just the transfer of information from those who did the research and development to those who have a specific need or a project on their course that's upcoming that they need more information on. They're going to be able to find that information at our trade show, and all they really have to do is indicate that they're interested, and they'll get the information that they need.
I wanted to make mention specifically of Thursday on the trade show floor. I know you and your crew have put a lot of effort into making that day kind of a must visit for attendees. Yes, the entire length of the show floor hours are going to offer up things to attendees, but there's been a lot of emphasis placed on making Thursday a really special and unique experience for attendees and exhibitors alike. So just briefly, could you just give us a little bit of a rundown of what folks can expect on Thursday in Orlando?
Yeah. And let me just lead into Thursday. Starting Monday and Tuesday, the interactive experiences begin in education with the course visits and the ability to do facility tours. That whole strategy is in place throughout the week to allow members and attendees to experience hands-on, to test product, to try product, to witness product, whatever their curiosity is, there's going to be opportunities to interact with what they're interested in. Now, on Thursday, we've encouraged all the exhibitors to do their interactive demonstrations either in their booths. We have a demonstration area on the show floor for electric and autonomous technologies. There's also a lot going on in booths, and that is being encouraged. I know a couple of exhibitors have large screens in their booth and are going to be hosting learning type environments to, hey, stop by and we'll show you where to click to get to this screen, and how to really build this technology into your facility. And I'm not going to get into specifics about different exhibitors, but I can tell you that there are a large number of them that have plans on Thursday to really kind of teach the advantages of not only what they're selling, but what it can do for the environment, what it can do for your golf course, what it can do for your head count. I mean, when you for conservation and saving water, I mean, everyone knows the pressures that the superintendents are under with both labor and water and environmental concerns. And there is a huge focus of exhibitors to kind of daylight that to them while they're at show and have an opportunity to interact.
Well, it's going to be the entire event, Monday through Thursday, even getting before into the golf championships, which we'll talk about on this podcast as well. But it's going to be an amazing event. As someone who's been close enough to know what's going on, I'm excited to see it actually in place. You've actually been down there and probably can visualize it a little better than I can, but I'm really looking forward to it. And one last thing, I'll give you an opportunity just to kind of shout out your team in the sales department have been putting in a lot of sweat equity and long hours to pull this thing together for GCSA members all over the globe.
Yeah, with all the transition and the evolution of the trade show, and certainly we've had staff transition as well. We did a little reorganization and moved some responsibilities around, more logistics over to the meeting planning team. And then on the sales side, more expectations around the account managers to bring home more exhibitors and to actually activate at show and make sure that the exhibitors understood all the opportunities that were available to them. But we hired a couple of new people. I mean, we are out there talking with exhibitors, trying to answer the needs of the members first and say, hey, we have listened to the surveys. We are putting together exactly what you've asked for and helping exhibitors understand the expectations and potential of the show. So it's really been a fantastic year from a transition standpoint, but we are positioned to execute like never before. And I really think that attendees will notice at show. I've heard people say, it's not your daddy's Oldsmobile or whatever.
Yeah.
It is still a trade show. We're going to the same building. We're building 500 booths, and you're going to see a lot of people that you do business with. That element will remain, but what's been enhanced is the interactivity, the ability to evaluate and make purchasing decisions based on what you learn at show. And I think that is really going to benefit the attendees first and the exhibitors as a byproduct, because they have an opportunity to educate and inform decision makers. And I think that's our goal. And I think we certainly have created the potential for all that to take place.
Well, it'll be an exciting week in Orlando. Of course, as always, for more information, you can head over to www.gcsaconference.com. There's information on the tournament, the education, and the trade show there. So, Matt, I appreciate your time. It's Matt Brown, GCSA's Director of Sales. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Scott. And thanks everyone for listening. See you at the show.
Well, that's a wrap on yet another episode of the GCSAA podcast. Hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the upcoming GCSAA conference and trade show. My thanks to my fellow staffers, Ed Severall, Jim Cummins, Kelly Norwood, and Matt Brown for their insights into everything going down in Orlando in early February. To learn even more and to get yourself registered, yes, there is still time to do that. Head over to www.gcsaaconference.com. Should be a great week in Central Florida. Always a lot going on with the podcast, including the very first video version that some of you might be watching on GCSAA TV or GCSAA's YouTube channel. So keep a close eye on both the audio and video feeds for all of that. But until then, we'll sign off by thanking our new video editor, Evan Shapiro, Enview for their ongoing sponsorship of the podcast, the 9 members of the GCSAA Board of Directors, my coworkers at GCSAA headquarters in Lawrence, Kansas, and of course, my thanks to each of you for subscribing, downloading, and listening or watching. Until we meet again, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch up again real soon on the next episode of the GCSAA podcast.